Hi everyone, it's Dryness, and this is the Simple Healthy Living group where we cover tips to live a simple, healthier life. And I'm so glad you are watching this video if you're live or if you're watching the recording. And I want to make a couple of announcements first. One is that registration for Costa Rica is still open. It's the 6th annual retreats. I have two retreat weeks that I offer to help you live a simple, healthier life. And we really get to live a life in rhythm with nature. It's an incredible place. It's just a few steps from the beach down in Nosara, Costa Rica, which is on the West Coast, right on the Pacific. And it's a chance to get deeply into your practices of meditation and yoga and learn about the wellness side of yoga, which is called Ayurveda, and that means science of life. So we really learn how to live in rhythm. And there are a few spots available January 20th to 27th, and that's the second week. And the first retreat week is a little bit more open, January 13th through 20th. So just message me here. Hi, just message me here on Facebook or type in the comments if you would like to find out more information about that, since that's coming up in just about 6 weeks. So it is December 1st tomorrow. We're just a few weeks away from the solstice, and I've been getting a lot of comments at this time of year around winter dryness. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And we're going to talk about internal dryness and external dryness. And a lot of people feel, and my skin is a little bit shiny here with the light, and that is not dry. That is a good thing. If you have a little shine on your face, it means you've got plenty of oil, though it's not oily. There is some moisture on my skin, which is good. But I want to talk about both internal and external dryness because they go hand in hand. So a lot of people at this time of year, they feel like their lips are dry, their skin is dry, the skin on their body is dry. But there's also that internal dryness, and that can show up as a dry mouth, dry nose, or sinus issues. Itchy ears can be a sign of dryness, and constipation can be a sign of dryness. So when we look at all these things through the lens of Ayurveda, it's understandable that at this time of year, that's what's happening, because that's what's happening in the atmosphere. The leaves are crunchy and dry. There's this letting go. The winds are active, and it's moving in the colder direction. Even here in San Diego, where I live, it's the coolest temperatures that it has been all year in the mornings. And that may be the case where you are too. It still warms up in the afternoon, but it's cooler in the morning, so there's this variability. And there's this darkness. We are approaching the darkest day of the year in a couple of weeks, in about 3 weeks. So I want to start by talking about the difference between dryness and dehydration. And I got this sponge, and it's not as dry as I would have liked because a dry sponge is really hard. This one is kind of hard. It's like almost there that it's dry. But a dry sponge can't absorb water. So if you're really dry internally, you might be drinking water and water, and it's not going to help because internally you're dry. So you are going to need more fat, more oil, and we'll talk about how to get that. I want to talk about instead of drinking water, but in addition to drinking water throughout the day, and one of the things that happens in the winter is we're not as thirsty as we are in the summer. So one tip that you can do is you can line up 64 to 72 ounces or so of water in jars, in bottles, so that you know how much you need to drink for the day. And one rule of thumb is to drink half your weight, your body weight, in ounces in a day. That's kind of a gauge. And depending on how active you are, you might need more, you might need less, but that's a pretty good gauge. So somebody who weighs 150 pounds, for example, would want to drink 75 ounces of water. So 2 liters is going to be 2 quarts, is going to be 64 ounces. So they'd be drinking 64 ounces plus another cup of water. Would bring them to about 72 ounces. So that's just one guideline. But the other thing that you want to be doing is sipping hot water throughout the day. And that, just like hot water helps you to wash your clothes or wash your dishes and get off the gunk, sipping hot water is going to help to cleanse your body, get rid of the gunk, which in Ayurveda we call ama, and help dissolve some of that so your body can absorb water at a deeper level. So that's my tip about water, is sipping hot water in between meals. Every half hour, every 15 minutes. It's not going to be a long drink of water, which you still want to have. So that is one tip about doing that, especially in the winter time. So externally, this is a dry brush. And if you haven't seen one before, this is what you want to use on your skin. So sometimes we're not detoxifying, we're not letting go on our skin. So this is a way to dry brush on your skin towards the heart. So you're going to have long strokes towards your heart, on your legs and on your arms, and down on your chest towards the heart. And then you want to spend some special time on your armpits, on the inside of your elbow, and the backs of your knees. And I'm not going to stand up and do that, but you get the idea, because that's where the lymph lies. We want to stimulate the lymph to also help the detoxification process. And our skin is the largest organ. So when we're brushing the skin off, it's going to help us to hydrate in the next step, which I'm going to talk about. So I really recommend this all year round. If you don't do it every day, it's fine to do it a few times a week. On dry skin before you do the next step, which is going to be oil massage. So oil massage is, the word oil actually is the same word as love in Sanskrit. So putting oil on our body, pure oil, is another way to combat dryness. And this is very different. This is very, very different than putting lotion on your body. Hey, Mandy, and thanks for the hearts. And lotion is loaded with emulsifiers, which we want to try to avoid. And oil, especially oil that is just pure oil that you could actually ingest, it's sinking right into your skin. So we want to be so aware of what we're putting on our body, because it doesn't go through the same detoxification channels as things do when we eat them, because it goes right into our bloodstream, right into our skin. So after you dry brush your skin, then you want to use oil on your skin and rubbing it all over your body from head to toe. And this actually penetrates into our skin. It penetrates into our bloodstream, and it helps us to hydrate with oil at a deeper level. So it's helping to penetrate the pores. So I love Banyan Botanicals. I will give you guys the link in the comments below. And these are two oils that I use. One is sesame oil, and one is vata oil, which is a base of sesame and olive oil. And then it's infused with herbs that are warming and help to create more hydration. So when we use the oil on our skin, it actually creates a barrier between the world and us. So that helps us to maintain hydration, also helps keep us warm. So if you're feeling dry on your skin, one of the best things that you can do is add oil. So you want to do that before you take a shower or a bath. And then if you can, wait a few minutes so that the oil really sinks in, then take a shower or then take a bath. And what happens is the pores open up and the oil seeps in. This is a great practice to do to help you stay healthy over the winter, because when we're dry, our immune system is not going to be as strong. So again, the vata oil is infused with the herbs. I'll read the bottle. It's sesame oil and olive oil, ashwagandha, bala, shatavari, passion flower, bringaraj, licorice, lemon verbena, tulsi, and valerian. So anything that's in here is ingestible. It's all organic. It's sustainably sourced. I can't recommend this company enough. I get all of my oils and my herbs and spices in there, as well as ghee, which I'm going to talk about in a moment as we talk about what we are going to ingest. So if you have any questions about this, or if you've been doing oil massage, if you haven't been doing oil massage because you're not sure how to do it, go ahead and type in the comments below. So that's what we're going to be doing on our skin. right? So that when we're hydrated well, the dryness kind of tends to dissipate. If you're feeling dry in your face, again, using products that are sustainably sourced, that are using oils. I posted a link to Anne-Marie Gianni, who uses amazing oils for the face. When we use oil on our face, it helps combat the dryness in a very different way than lotion does. So I highly recommend those. And then we want to talk about what we're eating. So it's interesting that the word fat has two connotations. It's fat in terms of the macronutrient, fat, carbohydrates, and protein. And it also is the word that we use on our body. And it's unfortunate because fat that we eat does not necessarily make us fat. It doesn't make us fat. It is so essential to so many processes on our body. Everything from elimination, we need enough fat in order for our digestion and assimilation and elimination to take place. We need the healthy fats for our brain function and for every function in the body. And I lived through the 80s and the 90s on all the low-fat products that we were, had so much added sugar to it, and that's kind of made a little bit of a comeback now. There are all kinds of studies that show that it's not fat that's the problem, it's the sugar that's the problem. And if you're still restricting fat in your diet, I want to highly encourage you to add more fat. It's not only more satiating, but it actually is going to help you combat dryness. So if you're feeling very dry and you're just drinking more water and that's the only thing that you're doing, you're missing out. So ghee, Ghee, if you're new to that, is clarified butter. And that is butter that cooks away the milk solid. So they're actually boiled off and scraped off. So it's only the fat that's left. And it's really an elixir, a healthy elixir that's used medicinally in Ayurveda. So if you aren't familiar with ghee, it's so yummy to cook with and to add to whatever it is you're cooking, vegetables, eggs, meat. You can cook in that. You can also add it onto something that's already cooked, and it's going to help you to be nourished from the inside out. Other healthy sources of fat you can use olive oil or coconut oil for cooking. Olive oil only at a lower heat, but if you're using some kind of a dressing, organic olive oil, and nuts and nut butters and seeds. One of the things about nuts themselves, though, is that they're dry. So if you tend to go for crunchy foods and chips and popcorn and things like that, and you're feeling dry all the time, know that at this time of year, that is going to be adding to your dryness. So that's one reason why I like the nut butters, because they're not so dry. They have that creamy quality to them. So make sure if you are eating something crunchy that you're having more water with it. Same with the bars, even the higher quality bars, they're still dry, right? So we want to think about eating warm, moist foods, one-pot meals, stews, things like that have a lot of liquid in them. All that is going to help us combat dryness. If you're still eating a lot of raw salads and raw vegetables at this time of year, that is also going to contribute to the dryness that you're experiencing. So cooking your vegetables with some healthy fat is going to help combat the dryness that you're experiencing. So, so those are my basic tips to look at what you're putting on your body, to add some, by sipping hot water throughout the day to help nourish you and hydrate you on a very deep level, to use the oil massage on your skin, and to be eating more healthy fats and more liquidy, warm soups and stews that have more liquid in them, and to avoid the drier, crunchier vegetables, raw vegetables and chips and things like that. So I hope that's helpful. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any other tips that you've used. I know that I used to feel really dry in my skin, and since I started doing oil massage probably about 8 or 9 years ago now. I don't have that dryness anymore. I don't have that itchiness anymore. And there are so many other Ayurvedic practices that use oils internally that maybe we'll get to. They're not so simple. I like to stick with simple here on the Simple Healthy Living page. So let me know how all of that goes in the comments and on the page. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, a good rest of your afternoon, and I will see you next Thursday on the Simple Healthy Living page. Thanks.